Hi guys, and welcome back to Wisdom Daily. Today we're going to continue with our series with Carl Gustav Jung, and we're actually going to read some quotes and talk about some of his best quotes from the Red Book or Liber Novus. This was one of the most controversial book that has been published from him, and it was a long time hidden or not available for the public. And we're going to look at it together and make some comments about something that actually piques my interest, and I hope that it will serve you right. So enjoy it. Okay, be silent and listen. Have you recognized your madness? And do you admit it? Are we mad? Have you noticed that all your foundations are completely mirrored in madness? Do you not want to recognize your madness and welcome it in a friendly manner? You wanted to accept everything. So accept madness too. Let the light of your madness shine, and it will suddenly dawn on you. Madness is not to be despised and not to be feared, but instead you should give it life. If you want to find paths, you should also not spurn madness, since it makes up such a great part of your nature. Be glad that you can recognize it, for you will thus avoid becoming its victim. Madness is a special form of the spirit, and it clings to all teachings and philosophies, but even more to daily life. Since life itself is full of craziness and at bottom utterly illogical, man strives toward reason only so that he can make rules for himself. Life itself has no rules. That is its mystery and its unknown law. What you call knowledge is an attempt to impose something comprehensible on life. Hmm, very interesting. So, here I see Carl Gustav Jung about talking about taking or accepting everything that we have and everything that we have been born to be, and that we should not give away this freedom to be whatever we want to be. And actually, if we call it madness, maybe it's madness, but maybe it's not madness, because I understand that most of the craziness and at the bottom is utterly logical. So everything about this world is in a certain way illogical. This is why we tend to find reason only so that we can make rules for ourselves. So the truth is that everybody, mostly everybody, is we are a little bit lost, and so we are looking at ways to improve our lives, how to make our lives better. And sometimes we can find that betterment actually in this illogical madness that we're seeing probably daily in our lives. Okay, let's move to the next quote. My soul, where are you? Do you hear me? I speak, I call you. Are you there? I have returned, and I'm here again. I have shaken the dust of all the lands from my feet, and I have come to you. I am with you. After long years of long wandering, I have come to you again. Should I tell you everything I have seen, experienced, and drunk in? Or do you not want to hear about all the noise of life and the world? But one thing you must know. The one thing I have learned is that one must live this life. One must live this life. Do you still know me? How long the separation lasted? Everything has become so different. And how did I find you? How strange my journey was. What words should I use to tell you on what twisted paths a good star has guided me to you? Give me your hand, my almost forgotten soul. Who warm the joy at seeing you again, you long disavowed soul. Life has led me back to you. Let us thank the life I have lived for all the happy and all the sad hours, for every joy, for every sadness. My soul, my journey should continue with you. I will wander with you and ascend to my solitude. So here I understand that Jung, this book of his was written, as I recall, at the near the end of his life, and it was a little bit different from other book of his because it was much more, much less scientific and much more esoteric in its nature. You can see him speaking about his soul, you can see him writing about his journey, you can see the words that he has been using and his longing towards his soul, the soul that he has forgotten to bring with him in the early part of his life, where he forgot about it, and this warm feeling you can almost feel from this writing of his that he actually found a new connection with his soul. So that's important. But please, as always, tell me in the comments, what do you think about this passage? I indignantly answered, do you call light what we men call the world's darkness? Do you call day night? To this my soul spoke a word that aroused my anger. My light is not of this world. I cried, I know of no other world. The soul answered, should it not exist because you know nothing of it? So here again you can feel that he is taking a deeper look at his life, and he is trying, or he has found a deeper connection with his soul, which is interesting to say the least. And he says, and it can be said of everything actually that we are trying to acknowledge in our lives, that if we don't know about something, that it doesn't exist, which simply cannot be true, which cannot hold true. My speech is imperfect, not because I want to shine with words, but out of the impossibility of finding those words. I speak in images. With nothing else I can express the words from the depths. I can understand that here he has used this way of looking at the world from images, because words are not good means of transferring these emotions and findings that he has clearly found. The life that I could still live, I should live, and the thoughts that I could think, I should think. Hmm. I understand from this passage that, again, a certain way of freedom, that he has freed himself. He has freed himself to live the life that he can live, that he could live, and then he should actually live, and the thoughts that he would still think he should think. You open the gates of the soul to let a dark flood of chaos flow into your order and meaning. If you marry the order to the chaos, you produce the divine child, the supreme meaning beyond meaning and meaninglessness. Hmm. If you marry the order to the chaos, you produce the divine child, the supreme meaning beyond meaning and meaninglessness. This looks like a very different passage. Maybe we will go after it another day. Every step closer to my soul excites the scornful laughter of my devils, those cowardly ear whispers and poison mixers. So he has the soul, which I understand that he has found a unity, a union with himself and his soul, and on the other hand, he he is hearing the laughter of the devils, which I believe that it is the lower self, the self, the things that we have actually taken from this world and we are bringing with uh, everywhere we go. We're bringing those things with ourselves, like fears, insecurities, uh, worthlessness, uh, maybe greed, not being not being confident, so being like a bit coward, and so on. So this is the lower part of ourself, and the higher part of ourself is our soul, which is in a way perfect because it has a part of the universe in itself. Okay. As long as you're not conscious of yourself, you can live. But if you become conscious of yourself, you fall from one grave into another. All your rebirths could intimately make you sick. The Buddha, therefore, finally gave up on rebirth, for he had had enough of crawling through all human and animal forms. After all the rebirths, you still remain the lion crawling on the earth, the chameleon, a caricature, one prone to changing colors, crawling, shimmering lizard, but precisely not a lion, whose nature is related to the sun, who draws his power from within himself. So the lion draws his power from within himself, who does not crawl around in the protective colors of the environment, and who does not defend himself by going into hiding. I recognize the chameleon and no longer want to crawl on the earth and change colors and be reborn. Instead, I want to exist for my own force, like the sun which gives light and does not suck light. The sun and the lion gives light and do not suck the light. That belongs to the earth. I recall my solar nature and I would like to rush to my rising. But ruins stand in my way, they say. With regard to man, you should be this or that. My chameleon skin shudders. They obtrude upon me and want to color me. But that should no longer be. Neither good nor evil shall be my masters. I push them aside, the laughable survivors, and I go on my way again, which leads me to the east. The quarreling powers that for long stood between me and myself lie behind me. So here I can understand that he does not want to be, he's talking about a rebirth, but I believe that he's talking about the state of his soul. So he wants to be a son, and he wants to be like, and he wants to have the power of the sun to shine this light on this world, and he does not want to suck the light. And he sees the lower animals of this realm to be uh, the entities that suck the light. And this is why he calls that belongs to the earth. So he recalls his solar nature and would like to rush to my rising. But runes stand in my way, they say. With regard to men, you should be this or that. And that's very important. How many times did our society tell us that we should be that, we should be that other thing, and that's actually called shoulding. And this is making our life, I mean, what do you think? Is it making your life better or worse? I don't know. I think it's making our lives worse, but you have to decide for yourself. They obtrude upon me and want to color me. So, society and the people around us, they want to color us on how they want us to be. But that should no longer be. Neither good nor evil shall be my masters. I believe here you can see paraphrasing or talking about the good things that color us, like the good deeds that we do, and the evil things like fears, insecurities, self-deception. These are all the evils that are coloring us, and we can actually push them aside, the laughable survivors, and go our own way. We can go our own ways. And especially when he's talking about going with his soul, he's talking about the unity with himself and the soul. And the quarreling powers that for so long stood between me and myself lie behind me. So those are the powers that are holding you and me and us back, that we cannot achieve what we are meant to achieve in this world. And it's much more difficult to make a contribution if we are, of course, depressed, anxious, living in fear, living in insecurity, being cowards, being insecure, etc. But at the end, please let me know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, stay safe, stay good, and have a great time. Thank you for watching.